Howdy partners, welcome back to another slot car video, and today we're going full American with the NASCAR set by SCX, so stick around and let's go yeehaw! Full American with the NASCAR set, roll the tape! So welcome back to another slot car review, and yes, we are reviewing another slot car set, but before we move any further, I am not going to do any more American accents because that was terrible, and I am going to stick to my original Australian accent. And before we go any further, a quick disclaimer, I am not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to NASCAR. I do follow the series here down under. We don't get all the races, but the big drivers I know, but some drivers I may not, and some detail I will not know. So I won't go into full spec details when it comes to drivers and cars. But what I do have in front of me here is quite rare here in Australia. It is an Australian released, well, delivered I should say. It was delivered here for sale, a 2007 SCX NASCAR set, which I'm honestly excited to have because the NASCAR stuff is quite rare down under, and I know it's quite collectible worldwide. So what do I have in front of me? It is a full set. The box is a little bit tatty. I don't care. I found it on eBay. I grabbed it. I'm excited. We've got two drivers, two cars. We've got car 29, which is the Chev, Kevin Harvick, and we've got car number 9, which is the Dodge, and it is Kasey Kahne. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to unbox it because it is complete. We're going to set it up with a quick time setup, and then we're going to take these things for a quick spin around the track that's included. Now, in the future, I will do a special showdown series between these two cars on my bigger track to see who is the quickest NASCAR. So let's get stuck into it. Full unboxing, set up the track, let's go racing, let's get it on. So what did you get when you purchased the SCX NASCAR set, the Tri-Oval Super Speedway back in 2007? Well, of course, you got this beautiful box. I do like it. It's got the two cars. It's got the two drivers with their cars in clear windows. Unfortunately, this window is missing, but I really don't care. You've got some information here on the front. It's got an ARS guide, adjustable magnets, guide with suspension, and a tilting chassis, which of course that's talking about the cars. And inside here are all the car pieces, and I will read out what they are. So you do have, and let me find the guide, you've got 6 tight radius corners, you've got 4 looser corners, you've got 2 crossovers, you've got 3 normal straights and a powered straight. You've also got 14 banked stands, a power supply, 2 controllers and 2 cars, and lucky for me they are all in this box. Now if you haven't purchased an SCX slot car set before, this is quite familiar to me. It's got all the numbering, it tells you where everything is, but the dead giveaway is this bit of track. I love how they do the green, they do the checker. I think that looks awesome, and to me, as soon as I see this, it screams SCX. Now of course there are 2 of these, and I did read out the parts and pieces, and I do like the texture on the track, and I'm telling you what, the rails on these pieces are quite good, so I think we are going to have a decent run. So let's build the track. Of course, we've got the 2 cars. We'll take a quick look at the 2 cars, a nice close-up of the liveries, and see how well detailed they were back in 2007. Then we'll build the track, then let's go racing. Alrighty, so let's take a close look at the 2 NASCARs that are supplied in the set. They both appear to be the same shell and chassis, and of course we've got different livery designs and some different detailed cues, so we will take a close look at both, and then after that we'll do a tear down on one of the cars to look at those added functions that the box tells us. But let's start with car number 9. Of course, it is Kasey Kahne. It's the Dodge. I think this looks really cool. Probably my favorite out of the 2 because of the red rims. But let's start on the driver's side. We have the safety net, which is a nice bit of plastic keeping the driver safe. Of course, in real life it'll be meshing, whatever it may be. Nice little bit of an air intake here at the rear windshield. I really like that touch. I did mention the red rims look incredible with the yellow Goodyear Eagle tires. And if I try and zoom in as far as I can, there is a little sticker or a decal in there that is car number 9. It's inside the actual rim, but you might not be able to see that. It's pretty small to the eye. Around to the rear, we've got this nice bit of drag wing on the rear of it. It's got a bit of chips and scratches on it, but that's okay. I'm happy to find these complete, to be honest. One grouse touch I like is the McDonald's livery, or the signage. We don't see much McDonald's signage down here on cars, so I think that's really, really cool. And of course, we've got the rivets running around the back windshield. Another key point on both cars is the amount of overhang on the rear of these cars. Absolutely incredible. Inside, well, let's quickly go to the passenger side, which is quite identical to the driver's side. It's only missing the mesh itself. But inside here, we do have a flooded cockpit. Both the cars, the cockpit is flooded up to the armpits, and it's a blacked out cockpit with some let's call it roll cage work and some sticker work on the dash, and hopefully we can see that. There might be, no, too much reflection, sorry everyone at home, through the front windscreen. No, we can't, but take my word for it, you can see the dash. It is quite detailed. Onto the front, the big Dodge livery or decal look really, really cool. And of course, in real life, we have the stickered on headlights because they don't have active headlights, and some air intake. I'll flip it upside down and show you this spring-loaded guide because both cars do have it. So that's your spring-loaded guide. And of course, here is our adjustable magnet pod, engine pod. And if you give the wheels a bit of a twist at the rear, that's where you get the movement for that movement action that it says on the box. So that's car number 9. Let's take a closer look at the Pennzoil car. Car number 29, we've got Kevin Harvick. It's the Chevy from the levee because the levee was dry. I'm not going to do any singing. Nice big Shell livery. I really like Shell, love the Pennzoil. Around to the driver's side, which is quite similar to the other car. We've got the meshing. A little bit of a difference. We've got some pop rivets around that back windscreen, which I think is a nice little touch. Of course, it appears to be the same Shell. Around to the rear, we've got the nice flick. This one appears to be in a little bit better condition. Down to the passenger side, we do have blacked out rims on this one. Let's see if we can zoom in and have a look at those. And we've got the Goodyear tyres, the yellow Goodyear Eagle tyres. Onto the front, of course, again, we've got the stickered on headlights. And let's flip it upside down because this one's got a bit more movement. And there you can see you've got your floating chassis. And if I try and get it in the right angle, you can see that it floats. Rightio, so let's tear down one of these cars, have a look inside, have a quick look at the functions, build the track, and then let's go NASCAR racing. Alrighty, let's take a close look at this beast of a slot car. Let's remove the chassis first. It only took 3 screws, 2 at the front, 1 at the rear, but I will show you in the tick. And let's have a look inside this shell because it's quite a large shell, but there's not much going on in there. Of course, this doesn't run lights in the real race, so it wouldn't run lights on the model itself, but you could, if you wanted to, retrofit some lights. Very shallow cockpit, but looks quite good. Very long shell, look at that. Let's move on to the chassis, and I did say 3 screws only. We do have 1, 2 at the front and 1 at the rear that keeps this mammoth thing together. And of course, inline motor, if I do find the specs, I'll put them up in text. Inline motor, we've got the gearing pinion at the rear, and of course, we've got this bit of metalwork here, and if you don't know or haven't seen an SCX car, that's how they run the power to the guide. Very familiar with SCX, so their current cars do it. But I will review a current car in the future to show you guys how that works. And of course, we've got the spring-loaded or the bouncy guide, which the box states it does that. And of course, we've also got this movable engine mount, so that gives the body some flex and some play. Really, really cool. Flip it upside down. There is your magnet, of course, and there we are dancing again. And this thing is quite a large slot car. So let's put it back together, let's build the track, and let's go NASCAR racing. So the track's complete, the cars are ready. I've banked the corners using these little bank arms, which I've left one out to show you guys. So both corners are banked, and those little arms sit on the outside of the corner. The only thing I'm worried about are these crossovers, but that's what the box says. So all that's left to do now is let's go racing. So there you have it, an SCX NASCAR set from 2007. What are my thoughts? Well, if you're a NASCAR collector, it's a no-brainer. You're going to have multiple NASCAR sets and cars in your collection. But if you're a general collector like me who like all the themes, especially in Australia, if you see a set or any NASCARs themselves, grab them because they rarely come up. And of course, they are quite collectible here. But my personal opinion on this set, for a set from 2007, I'm impressed. The track is still in good condition and the cars really, really go well. And of course, in the near future, I'll be doing a special showdown series on my larger track, Chevy versus Dodge, to see which of these NASCARs is quicker. But as always, that's Slot Car Guy on Instagram and YouTube. I have set up a Patreon and a membership account for my YouTube channel. Of course, if you are happy to sign up and support the channel, I really do appreciate that. If you do not, that is completely fine. I just appreciate everyone who watches the show because we are trying to spread the word on this incredible hobby. But as always, be safe, support your local, take care, ciao.